Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Barki Faraj Kamus, and I would love to share a little bit about myself. Um, since I was born, since I could remember, I was living with my grandmother, and I couldn't understand why I was living with my grandmother. Um, every time I hear that my dad is around or came to near to the mosque and picking up, fetching water, because there's a shortage of water in Africa. And so I would be rushing and running towards him, and just wanting to be closer to him, and wanting to just, I felt that like the piece of me is not there with him, and I wanted to be. It's so weird because my siblings will be in the car and they'll be around, but all my attention was my dad, and I want to be around him because he used to come and visit me more often than my mom. So I don't remember so much about my mom. I remember more about my dad, and so for me, I couldn't understand why I was living with my grandmother. Why was I left there? And I didn't have the courage to even ask him. And every time he would welcome me, he will be just give me a hug and I'll be around him. And after that, he will drop me off. And I felt so sad at the time. And I'll be just like, oh, I wish it was one of my siblings and I'll go home with him. Now, go forward. He died when I was 9 years old. I didn't know anything about, death or anything that would change in my life until I was a teenager, and I was sent to my mom and where my siblings are, and life changed for me because. I just felt that, me and my grandmother, now we're kind of a team and we got everything together and everything is all good. And until the time came that I was left and I wasn't on holiday. This is like I was left and I felt that pain, the same pain I felt when I was living with my grandmother. And this time I felt like my grandmother left me, left me and I was left again. And it made me very sad, but at the same time, life has to go on. So I just kept on studying hard and seeing my other siblings, the way they live and everything. And it was totally different because it was like I was living by myself as an only child, but then now I'm not the only child. So my mind was different. And looking at the way life was, it was hard. And I couldn't understand why my dad had so many children. I couldn't understand why, my mom couldn't do anything much to protect her children because she didn't have a job to look after us financially. She didn't have a place for us to take us, all of us. She couldn't do any of those things. And for her, she had to be quiet to just let be. And that hurts me because I was just like, I see for the first time seeing women as weak because of my mom. When I looked at my mom and I looked at everybody else, and I was just like, this is horrible. And I didn't want to be a woman. And I was just like, why was I born a woman? Because I don't have a voice. I don't have a way to choose my own destiny. And I tried so hard. I was the first in class. I was doing so well, trying to prove to my uncles and another grandmother, my father's mother, who wanted to prove to them that I'm a good student, I'm a good child, and they should keep me up. They should pay for my schoolings and look after me because I'm going to make sure that I get a good job and all these things. But come on, let's be realistically in East Africa at the time, women, they don't really work at the time. When I was younger, they don't do what I wanted to do. And so when I was 15 years old, I was engaged, and I didn't want it. And I said, no, you can't say no to family because that's the way life is. I got arranged marriage and I came to London. and straight away got pregnant. I had my first child when I was 17 and my second child when I was 18. And after that, it kind of reminded me for where I was. And I did like, when I was young, that when I was a teenager and seeing my dad having so many children, and then he died so young, and he couldn't even protect us. He couldn't do what he wanted, with his life. And so even though it wasn't his fault, his time came, but I couldn't understand that when I was a child. I was just blaming him, literally blaming him. And so I actually, I promised myself that day that I would never have so many children, because I want to be able to look after them. I want to be able to, not to leave a burden for my family or for anyone else. And I will want my, it's like, it's like I made a deal to God. It's like, please, God, make sure that I look after my children until they're grown up, that they can look after themselves, and then I can die. That's my wish, my only wish. And so for me was that, okay, wasn't planned the second child, but he came. I'm happy, I'm proud, and I'm grateful for that. And now, but even though the life wasn't that perfect, because having a marriage and in that marriage wasn't a happy marriage. And again, I was in the middle of kind of like a pull and push in culture, in traditions, and in, you know, in my religion. And I was just like, oh my God, again, there's a test here. And the test was that, I'm not happy. I want to walk away. I want to do things for myself. How can I do that? Is it allowed? And because since I was a child, we were told, oh, God hates, divorce. And it's not nice to, it's kind of a shame. People look at it sometimes when you are divorcee, and it's harder to get married again. So all these things that are cultures, and all these things, they be told over and over again, that it kind of made it was stuck in my head, and it took me longer to walk away and to build my own life because of those things. And until one day I was curious enough, and I was like, okay, I want to know more about my religion. I want to know more about what exactly is the difference between my religion and my culture. And to be honest with you, if you, as a Muslim woman, and Islamically, you're not forced to stay within a marriage that is, you have grounds that is not happy. And so for me, having that peace of mind, and having that, okay, God actually will understand me, because I tried everything in the book the way it's supposed to, and it didn't work out. And for me, I am okay to walk away with a clear heart. And so it did happen. I fought for the divorce, and I did it. I got the divorce. But then guess what? Wanting independence so badly that, financially I didn't even think of it. And that reminded me when my mom, when my mom couldn't do it. And I was going through a financial difficulty, and I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is going to be, oh my goodness, I'm so scared. And to be honest, I again gone back to God and really think about what or who can help me. Nobody can help me, but God is there for me no matter what. So for me, surrendering that fear, surrendering that headache, surrendering things that I cannot control, it kind of made it easy for me to just trust. Because in my family, my sister one day called me on the phone, and she said to me, come back to Africa, don't stay there, it's really hard, and just come back to Africa. But for me, I looked at it as, I can't come back to Africa, because if I come back to Africa with nothing, how can I support myself? How can I support you guys? Because I'll be a burden again, and I will not really help. I will actually kind of making more problems. And I don't want that, because that is not the way I am. So I said no. And I thanked her, because I was like, I'm so happy. Thank you for telling me and for giving me that option. But that is not option for me. Because me, All I want is to live my life the way I want to live my life in my own terms, to be my own hero. And that means for me is to actually stand up and do something about it. My life wasn't exactly the way I wanted or the way I planned it. But guess what? I am so happy and I'm so blessed to have this life and to have my children and to have the shelter in my house and to have food on the table, even though it was difficult at the times. But I could, every time that it happened, I'm just so grateful. And every time it's like a momentum, what you're grateful for every single day. And that is like, it gives it more fuel, it gives you more faith, and it gives you more blessed heart that it's okay, you are okay. And to be honest, everything happens, but it's a temporary. So for me, going through that maybe a year or so, and I'm so happy because now it got me to a better place. And my children are growing up, they are in their 20s, and I'm grateful, I'm happy. I started my own business and helping other women how they can actually live their life on their own terms, how they can actually do things for themselves. And it's okay if you had a hard life. It's okay if you had challenges in your life. It's okay if things didn't work out, but you're alive. That means you can make a difference right now. That means you can do something about it. And that means you can get what you want. Anything is possible in this life. So I just want to say thank you so much. If you have any question, please get back to me, and I wish you all the best. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.